good afternoon. Welcome back to Hochfilzen. Apologies for the slightly late arrival for the women's 4x6 kilometre relay. There you see the standings after the first shoot, and surprising to see Canada leading the way. They have put their best athlete first, Rosanna Crawford, looking very good at the moment. Good first shoot from her, but there's a hungry pack just behind her, some 25 metres, and Germany starting to turn up the pace. Interesting teams, Mike. We've got a good entry for the women's race. 22 teams in all. We've got Switzerland, Korea, Kazakhstan, who we don't see that often. Romania are there as well. But the big names remain the same. France, Norway, Russia, Germany.
I'm just wondering, though, today, Patrick, Poland have been showing some good performance, without a doubt. Biggest improvement this season. And could Italy get themselves up from rank 9th last year? I think they can. They've got some promising young athletes coming through. The Czech Republic, we can't ignore them with the World Championships coming to the Czech Republic in January.
And I would add Ukraine to that list, I think, with the two Semirienko twins still going okay. But the bonus for the Ukraine is that Zima is skiing well, and Podrushna currently lying in the top 10 of the World Cup standings, so they now have a team of 4 good athletes as opposed to just being held together by 2.
They certainly do. I said World Championships in January, of course they're in February. But what a day for Canada, though. I know we're just 10 minutes 16 into the race, but Rosanna Crawford, this is the day of her life.
So far. She has one more shoot to go. It could go horribly wrong. Let's hope not. She's got a lead of just a few seconds. I think she'll probably come in with this leading pack. Austria are there. The Austrian women have been short of strength in depth of late. And they've got Romana Schrempf on the first leg, and she's the best known of their biathletes. So they, like a few of the weaker teams, have put their best first, just trying to stay with the pace. The top teams, well, they played with the order. Tora Berger goes last for Norway, so no surprises there. It's a strong Norwegian team, Mike, with Sullumdal, yesterday's winner, going on the second leg. But they must be a little bit concerned. Horn and Fenner are not at the same level as those other two.
They're not, but if they could take inspiration off their men's team earlier, where we saw some amazing shooting, and we do know the young Norwegians coming through in the women's field, they have the potential to get the targets. And really today is about getting the targets without touching the spare rounds.
Austria, team number 18, and the bib number corresponding to where the team finished in the Relay World Cup last year. So France, just like in the men's, were number 1 at the end of last season. In fact, the last of the relays last year was at the World Championships in Ruhpolding. Only 4 relays going towards that table, but a good indication of which teams are consistently at the top of the order. And as Besserberg there on the left of your screen, the president of the IBU.
Peter Bayer there as well beside him. Long-standing both of these two characters been in charge for a long time in biathlon, and really lifting biathlon into well, one of Europe's most popular sports.
So shoot number 2, first leg, and the French with Anaïs Bescon taking the first leg. She had a reasonable day yesterday, 21st to 14th in the pursuit. She's a good shot. And Brunet Boilly-Dorin. It's a really strong team, actually, the French. They got the world silver medal in Ruhpolding last year. They got the Olympic silver medal in 2010. And we've got exactly the same team as we had for Ruhpolding last year.
Rashawn, after the prone, she was down in 7th, nearly 8 seconds behind. Moved up to the front.
First to strike is Crawford of Canada. And Germany, the first to miss, with Tina Bachmann. Bachmann not having the best of starts to her season. She needs a good race here to make up for that. Clean shooting again from Russia, Poland, Norway, all shooting 5 out of 5, and they're going to go from 5, 6 and 7 up into 1, 2 and 3. That's how quickly things change. The French are clear, just 1 required spare round for them, 2 for Bachmann, who is starting to panic. Crucial shot for Bachmann now. Germany do not have Magdalena Neuner to make up for any mistakes.
They don't. Magdalena Neuner, she could pull back what, up to 15 to 20 seconds on the last leg. Well, what about Evie Sackenbacher, the former cross-country skier? She's racing at the IBU Cup and showing amazing times, but not hitting targets yet.
but a bit late, surely, in her career to be making the transition. Don't forget, she was an Olympic medalist in the sprint back in 2002 in Salt Lake City. Great to give it a go, and she wants to freshen up her sort of athletic approach. But if you're going to make the transition to biathlon, give yourself enough time to rise to the top.
It's a fair comment, but she has got, I watched her shooting in Austria, and her non-out-of-breath shooting was immaculate. She was hitting such central shots, but then you put yourself in these situations and you need a lot of experience to cope with this pressure.
I take it you mean her shooting at rest.
That's maybe an easier way of talking about it.
Incidentally, lots of emails coming in about the what Noina is up to. Well, she's working for TV at the moment. We'll try and get you as many details as the season goes on, but I bet she's watching today and probably wishing she was out there. Uwe Mussigang watching the early stages of this women's biathlon, their first relay of the season, and he'll have a keen eye on the progress of the Germans. Bachmann, Gössner, Höschler, Henkel, they've put the most experience last. Andrea Henkel, not the best of starts to the season, Mike, but she's consistent, lying fourth in the World Cup standings, and it'll be interesting to see how she gets on. 2 17th place finishes this weekend so far for Andrea Henkel, which are a little bit below par.
We saw Uwe Mussigang, well, he's the director now of all performance in the German team, and I think he'll be really disappointed that Germany left the range after the second shoot in 12th position, 27 seconds behind.
Well, this is a really good start for Poland. We did mention them yesterday, saying if you want to put some money on an outsider, put it on Poland. But by the time we had a look at the bookies this morning, their odds were already down to 7-1. And so we lost interest. But it's noticeable, isn't it, Mike, that the Poles have consistently had 3 finishes in the top 20 of races, and that's why we're sort of thinking a podium finish is very much a possibility.
It would be so good for the Polish team, and they have come in to this season on much better shooting form. We saw that with Guisdon yesterday.
Germany going through in 8th position, 14 Bachmann, after a slightly ropey shoot in the stand position. And the Americans off the back of the pack. And while we're watching this, we won't give away the results of the men's relay, but maybe a word. The American men well below par. The British men, what did you make of their performance? And of course, an apology for misleading you, saying that the teams that get lapped get taken out. Well, that's been the rule in the past. We're going to check up on that and see why they were allowed to carry on today.
They allowed them, that's what it was. I checked up, and of course, they allowed them to go through their final shoot, and then they're pulled out. So, and then they get the running order after all the shoot, and that's where you finish in terms of world position after the last shoot.
Can you explain that? Why they allowed them to continue? Because surely initially you were pulled out so you didn't get in the way of the leading teams and you weren't confused to the viewers on the telly.
Well, that's the point. They might need to revisit the rules and maybe pull them out as if they are getting tied up with the leaders.
Well, none of these teams are in danger of being pulled out today. It's France who get away first. A good leg from Anaïs Bescon. She hands over to Marie-Laure Brunet. So consistent, so reliable on the range. She should be able to hold a good position for them. Nowakowska goes for Poland. Russia away in 3rd position. A team that are the Olympic champions, of course. Katerina Glazarina hands over to Olga Zaitseva, the only woman who was in that Olympic team. And then Norway down in 5th. A good start for Norway. I think they'll be happy with that. And with Synnøve Sullumdal on course now, they could well be handing in at the halfway stage, could be in 1st place.
I think the Norwegian team have put their order perfectly well with perceived slowest athlete first. And if you're not quite on form, in a start like this, you do raise your game to stay with the pace of the group.
Annalise Cook handing over to Susan Dunkley for the American team, and not too much damage done so far for them. That was Christina Palka. Great day's work for her, and she's had a wonderful season so far, lying 6th in the World Cup standings at the moment. Well, there are the top 10. Four relays last year, 4 different winners. And Norway, Russia, France, Germany all won apiece. And I was slightly surprised. I had a look at the shooting, Mike, the sort of shooting standard we're expecting to take the win today. The best shooting for a winner last year was 0-9, so no penalty loops, but 9 spare rounds required, and that was the French in Antolz.
I am surprised. Normally, certainly in the past, I've seen the Russian women only missing one, and it's so rare to see that one out of all shots fired, 1 spare round used.
In fact, I think the Russian women achieved that here on these tracks in Hochfilzen, and it's been their trademark over the years, just to make sure of the targets, and it's won them many titles and many World Cups. They're in 4th place at the moment, the blue and red suit, leading the way Poland, a suit that you won't be quite so familiar with, and on course for them is Nowakowska, Hojinch and Guizdon taking legs 3 and 4 for them. They're certainly quicker than they were, they're shooting better than they have done in the past, and hence the success is starting to come their way. France in 2nd place, Brunei is such a good athlete, such a good biathlete, but her skiing has always been 2 or 3% below the best, and she's struggled to make up for that.
I'm surprised. She's still got the same shooting record you mentioned there. She's a wonderful biathlete on the shooting range. Just needs to find 45 seconds over a 20-minute race, over this distance. Zaitseva restless there. She's feeling good, but she tried to go round him. It's a long way around, and using so much energy in trying to make that move, which didn't come off.
The Czech Republic, Team 11, and they've put their 2 trump cards on legs 1 and 2, as we would have expected. Sukalova takes the next or is on course for them, having taken over from Vitkova. I think they may start to drop down the order, but an encouraging start from them. There are you.